How's it going? Today I'm gonna be building on sort of the video that I posted yesterday, and today I'm gonna be talking about complacency. And personally, I think the biblical definition of complacency, if you really had to bring it down to the wire, is the idea that we're taking God's blessings for granted and essentially undervaluing the gifts He has given us. You know what I mean? Like we kind of just live our lives in such a reckless way when we could be, utilizing the gifts He's given us. And I think the perfect biblical example of complacency is the story of Samson. And um, if you're unfamiliar with the story of Samson, it's um, God blesses this man uh, with an inhumane amount of strength, where he can tear apart lions and stuff like that and bring down pillars. Um, but the key to his strength is actually, well, it's in his hair. He has long hair, and if he cuts it, he loses all his strength. And so the story goes is that long hair Samson falls in love with this girl named Delilah, and Delilah um, is someone who is working with the Philistines to try to get him killed, because Samson has enemies, and his enemies are the Philistines. Sorry, I just had to specify that. Um, and so Delilah is, she seduces him first of all, and he falls for her and whatnot. And um, she essentially convinces, Samson to tell her his weakness. And um, the first three times, it's a bunch of BS. And Samson's like, if you bind me with new ropes or whatever, then all my strength is gone and I'll be normal. And so the Philistines would try these tactics, and it would never work. Um, but I think Samson's ignorance and the idea that he could just kind of flaunt or um, take advantage of the strength that God had given him, and essentially just throw it all, like, use it for a wrong purpose, right? Because he liked this Delilah girl, right? And um, he was blinded, I think, by his lust for her. Um, he knew she was an enemy. He knew she was working with the Philistines, um, and yet he would still just like, if you do this, then my strength will be gone. And he kind of like essentially thought, I'm invincible. Um, I'm never going to be vulnerable in that way. God will always, have this. I will always have this, incredible amount of strength. Um, until the fourth time, when instead of like braiding his hair or doing finding him in another way, Delilah asks him for the fourth time. She's like, okay, how how do you lose your strength? Are you tell me the real way you lose your strength? And so Samson goes, if you buzz my hair off, then I will lose my strength. And sure enough, um, in Judges chapter 16 verses let's see, verse 20, she when he falls asleep, she shaves his hair off, and she says, "The Philistines are upon you, Samson." And he awoke from his sleep. He was sleeping when she cut his hair, and said, "No matter, I will go out as at other times and shake myself free." But he did not know that the Lord had left him. And the Philistines seized him and gouged out his eyes, and brought him down to Gaza and bound him with bronze shackles. Gouge out his eyes is kind of gory, but you know, you get the point. Complacency was ultimately Samson's downfall. And yes, it's an exaggeration of like complacency nowadays, but I think it pretty accurately does represent like how we kind of go about our lives as well. We assume that God's just going to deliver us through, um, mistakes of our own, if that makes sense. Like, let's say, you know, we repeat. a sin. We keep doing it. It's like, okay, well, I didn't get consequences last time, so I can probably keep doing it this time. And that's kind of what Samson does here. He's like, okay, well, I still had my strength the last three times. It's not going to be any different this time. I'll just break free. Guess what happened? It didn't happen. So my point is, and one of my buddies worded this perfectly: be content, but not complacent. Content with the blessings that God has given you. Content with, maybe your achievements in life, or like lack thereof of achievements, if you will. But don't be complacent with what God has given you. And it's an important thing to highlight. Like, we can't guarantee that we wake up tomorrow. We can't guarantee that we have a next month, a next year, a next decade. Like, we just assume that's like, okay, in the next 5 years I'm going to do this, or in the next year I'm going to do this. Like, and that's why it's building off the last video where I said start now. You know, don't hesitate. Don't taunt the time that you have, because you may not. You know what I mean. Like, if you're gonna do something, start it now, and um, just don't be complacent with what God has given you. Don't assume that He can't take it away. Whether it's even a relationship, um, whether it's your health, like whatever it is, don't be complacent with it. Like, do what you can right now with what you have, because there's no guarantee that you're gonna keep it. And um, yeah, I mean, that's about the gist of it. Thank you for watching, and hope you enjoyed the video.